Hello, I'm Camille,
And I'm Vincenzo. We are finance officers.
and we're here to tell you more about the fixed percentage.
Let's now see how the fixed percentage to report staff cost to Interreg Europe works and how to define a plausible percentage for your employees.
What is a task assignment letter? The task assignment letter sets out the fixed percentage an employee works on the project. It contains several information. The percentage of time the employee will dedicate to the project per month, a description of the role of the employee in the project, for instance, if this person will be in charge of project coordination, financial management, or communication management, as well as a description of the task and responsibilities assigned to this employee.
When should the task assignment letter be signed? The task assignment letter is usually issued at the beginning of the period it applies to, and it is dated and signed by both the employee and the line manager or supervisor. You may find the task assignment letter model on our website. That's a template that contains all the minimum requirements needed by the program. But in case of doubt, do not hesitate to ask your controller. If several persons from your organization work on the project, then a fixed percentage should be defined for each one of them in a separated task assignment letter.
How can I come up with a percentage for an employee? One of the first things you need to do is to define what will be the role of the employee in the project. A good way to start is to identify the tasks and duties this employee will be in charge of. You should also consider whether this person will be involved in any other project or if he or she has tasks not related to the Interreg Europe project. By doing so, you should be able to estimate how much of their working time they will spend performing this task.
How often can the percentage change? In your organization, you surely have an annual staff appraisal, a performance of review, or any other opportunity to discuss your tasks and responsibilities within your organization. If following such a meeting, your tasks and responsibilities within the project change, then the task assignment letter may be updated accordingly. And if following such a change within your tasks and responsibilities also implies a change in the time you will spend on the project, then the fixed percentage may also be adjusted. But let's make an example, and let's assume that an employee within the organization is in charge of both the project coordination and communication task. But after the annual staff appraisal, this person will now be in charge only of the project coordination task, leaving the communication to someone else. In this case, the task assignment letter can be revised in order to reflect the change in the fixed percentage of this person, and in fact, a new task assignment letter should be issued. Remember though, the fixed percentage should not be updated every semester.
But what happens if the fixed percentage does not reflect 100% the reality of the cost spent in one period? The fixed percentage should be as close as possible to the actual involvement of the employee in the project. However, by definition, a percentage cannot always reflect 100% accurately the time spent on the project by an employee in every period. There might be periods when the employee spends more time on the project, and some others when the employee spends less time on the project. This is perfectly understandable. You need to think of the fixed percentage as an average of the time spent by an employee on the project per month over the whole project duration.
Should I fill in any timesheet? That's one of the perks of the fixed percentage. You do not need to fill in or submit any timesheet. As we said earlier, the fixed percentage needs only to be documented in the employment contract, in the task assignment letter, or in any other official document issued by your employer. So, timesheets, no longer necessary.
Now you know how to come up with a plausible fixed percentage. Let's try to make it a bit more concrete.
Of course, let's take the example of an organization that is involved in two Interreg Europe projects. One of his employees, let's call him Dwight, is mostly involved in the project Bit Farming Innovation, where his organization is lead partner. He is the project coordinator and he attends all the project meetings, mostly on site. He also supervises the work of his colleagues in producing project deliverables and is in charge of preparing the activities and results part of the progress report. Moreover, he also supports his colleagues on the other project. Despite sharing his time in two projects, the level of involvement of Dwight in bit farming innovation is way higher. This is why, considering all of his tasks, we can imagine for Dwight a percentage of approximately 75%.
The organization got a second Interreg Europe project approved called Warehouse, for which an employee that we can call Jim is involved as the financial manager. Jim does not only work on Warehouse project, he also works on other projects from other programs and initiatives. In Warehouse project, Jim gathers all supporting documents for the verification of expenditure. He leads all public procurement procedures, and he fills the financial side of the report. He is also the person in touch with the controller if needed. Considering this involvement in the project, we could imagine a fixed percentage of 20% for Jim.
Finally, the director. We can call him Mike. He's not really involved in the implementation of project activities. He only takes part in meetings and in project events whenever they are relevant for him, and he gets also weekly information about all of the projects his organization is involved in. Considering this kind of involvement, we could imagine that the fixed percentage for Michael is around like 0 and 5%. So in fact, considering such a low involvement, it is up to you to decide whether it is really worth it to draft a task assignment letter for Michael and so to report his staff cost.